Hi again, guys. So मैंने अपना वार्म अप रूटीन कवर कर लिया है. If you want to know more about my warm up routine, please leave me in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to create a video on my warm up routine. So now I'm all pumped up. हल्का हल्का पसीना भी आ रहा है. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. But let's hit the road. Just completed my long run, heading back to home, and I shall see you guys shortly.
Alright, let's talk about long run. I have divided this video into 4 segments, mainly the definition of long run, how long actually is a long run, how much times you should do it, and some general tips and precautions that you should follow before actually going to attempt that long run. So let's get started. Alright, let's address what exactly is a long run. So long run is basically any sort of a run where you are not exerting a lot of pressure on yourself. You're going on an easy conversational pace, and by that I mean you are running, or maybe you're keeping your heart rate up even while you're walking, but you keep a conversational pace. That is, you can hold a conversation with someone who's running alongside you. And you can hold it for some extended period of time, at least 30 minutes. So that is what constitutes a long run. In technical terms, if I say a long run is something which keeps your heart rate at about 60 to 70% of its maximum heart rate. Let's also talk about how long really is a long run. So, I mean, it's a very difficult question to answer, but it could be anywhere between 30 minutes and it can go to any amount of time. People even do it, say for example, ultra marathoners do it even for 4 to 5 hours. So the rule of thumb that I would like to put in this case, how long actually your long run should be, is somewhere about 30-minute mark for beginners. While the idea for advanced or intermediate runners should be somewhere around your race pace, and for that duration in which you intend to complete a race. For example, say I complete a half marathon in 2 hours, so I should aim to stand on my legs for at least 2 hours and keep them moving. It's not necessarily a total running distance, but it can be a walk also. But you need to do some sort of activity which keeps your heart rate almost at 60-70% or at a conversational pace for that amount of time.
So one very common misconception amongst people, particularly about running, has been that if you are going for long run, then you cannot walk on that run, or even if you are going for a run, you cannot walk on that run, which is a little funny to me, because it's your body which is getting used to it, and if you not take adequate rest between your intervals or your long run, you're going to be very much tired. So this is the philosophy. You can absolutely run and walk between the runs as well.
So the next question is, how frequently should you run these long runs? If I take my example, I do it just once per week. And it depends on person to person how much he wants to run, what is his capacity, what is his aerobic threshold, all those things. It depends on a lot of factors. It even depends on the terrain. For example, the long run that I had today was just 7 kilometers and I took somewhere about 51-52 minutes for it. It's a long, slow run, but you need to keep it just maybe limited to once a week or even once in 2 weeks for beginners, I would say, because your body is now undergoing a lot of changes. There can be psychological changes, there can be neurological changes, there can be muscular changes, and there will be tears in your body. So accordingly, your body will need a good amount of rest even after that long run to rebuild itself. So my suggestion would be to keep it at least once per week, not more than that, definitely. To just give you an example of how much rest you need after a long run. So typically the elite marathoners that run 21 kilometers or even 42 kilometers what they do is they take a week or 2 week off depending on their capabilities, even though they are at such an elite and advanced level. So you should definitely consider taking some good amount of rest, some good nutrition after a long run, and keep your long run limited to just once per week. So this last segment is all about precautions and the general tips that you should be taking while you go on a long run. So typically when you go on a long run, it should be followed by a good warm-up routine as well as a good cool-down routine. If you guys want a video on a good warm-up and a cool-down routine, please do let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happiest person to make that video. Also, you should not exert yourself too much. You can obviously run, but you can also walk during your long runs. It's not something which is you are to be ashamed of, but it's all about having the time standing on your legs and working out on your legs. So that is one of the most important things. Secondly, I would say don't go too hard on that run. Go very slow. Probably have a tracking app. Form a upper limit, that you cannot go more than this particular pace. And lastly, one tip which I have been following for the last few months is always following your long run with strength and core routine. It really helps a lot when I go for my run the next week, and when I'm closing this week, I know I'm in a perfect strong shape to continue my training the next week. So these are few of the general tips that you need to follow apart from good nutrition and good hydration, obviously. So that was my 2 cents of information and my tips over how you can proceed for a long run. I hope you'll really like the video. Please like, subscribe and share my video as much as possible. This channel will provide you always genuine content and always honest content from the heart. Please consider subscribing it so that I can be pushed ahead by the YouTube algorithm.